Hello everybody, I'm some loudmouth on the internet with an opinion, and welcome to part 3 of my series on Gargoyles The Goliath Chronicles. And today we'll be looking at the episode Broadway Goes to Hollywood. An episode that once again fails to have anything resembling a deeper meaning, but this time it doesn't really try. Does that make it better? Let's dig in and find out. Here's my review of Gargoyles The Goliath Chronicles, Broadway Goes to Hollywood. We start with David and Fox Xanatos having a good time out in their limousine until 5 or so anti-gargoyle protesters somehow manage to lift their vehicle onto its side. Damn, I didn't realize being a bigoted rioter made you that strong. I guess being a bigot gives you plenty of time to spend at the gym. The Xanatoses avoid them, but not before deciding to help the Gargoyles change their public perception in order to avoid further harassment. Fox decides to use her connections in Hollywood to give the Gargoyles better PR.
Maybe it needs a push.
Well, she was a TV star way back in the first season, so it kinda does make sense that she would have such connections. Wait, using continuity to our advantage to tell a story instead of ignoring it? What madness is this? So, true to the title of the episode, Broadway goes with Fox to Hollywood without telling the rest of the clan.
Made of.
Oh, David, dealing with the media is my specialty. If this project succeeds, it will not only bring humans and gargoyles closer together, it might even get our lives back to normal.
I know it's no use trying to discourage you, so what else can I say except keep me posted?
Flying out to Hollywood?
Yeah. Hollywood.
The lad was always a mite starstruck.
How could he just go and do something like this, without even talking to us about it? Not to me.
You know, Brooklyn, this would be a great time to say something like, "Yeah, he's a creep, Angela. I'd never do that to you, babe."
Fox is involved. Somehow she convinced Broadway to agree to a television interview with someone called Shauna Coyle.
Shauna? Oh, that's big time.
I have a bad feeling about this.
This isn't Star Wars.
Shades are way cool. How do I look?
Sunglasses at night. I see real star potential here, Broadway.
Upon arriving at the airport, they immediately see a plane crashing down.
Novice pilots, too, according to the tower.
And that just happens to happen right when they're pulling up on LA. Talk about the mother of coincidences.
Gargoyle's intervention last night, the grateful newlyweds said they would have surely perished.
I know those two, Owen. They run a stunt pilot school financed by one of our investors. It was a setup.
Choreographed to let the media see Broadway doing what he does best, protecting others. How can it?
That's my Fox.
Okay, I guess that coincidence is explained in an actually very clever and convincing way. Damn it, episode, you're not giving me enough to nitpick. Broadway, of course, jumps out of the plane to glide down to the crashing plane in order to save the 2 passengers.
That could have been us.
You're a gargoyle.
Well, yeah,
Well, I don't care what you are. You're my hero.
This event makes Broadway a temporary hit, so much that I am not kidding, people mob him and rip his clothes off.
Broadway?
What the fuck? I thought this was Broadway Goes to Hollywood, not Broadway Goes to Sodom. But before Broadway has a chance to join the Me Too movement, he sits down with other Hollywood executives, and we actually get some pretty decent comedy.
No. See, you lose the shock value. You see him every week, people start to think of him as normal.
A PR tour. See it, touch it, know it's alive!
The Broadster is ready to call it a night.
did they even know I was there? If they want to work with me, why were they insulting me so much?
If I knew that, I'd own this town.
Yeah, insulting people just to get their attention from your own fame and fortune? What is this, YouTube? So Broadway begins the interview, and at first it goes well.
Our guest belongs to a clan of nocturnal monsters, long thought to be legend, and now known to be fact.
That is until Jackal and Hyena show up, punching a hole in the thinnest rooftop ever built. Yeah, I hope it never ever rains in Hollywood, as the slightest bit of rain or water of any kind would easily collapse that roof. Jackal and Hyena eventually attack and manage to take Broadway prisoner.
Here's a little something we put together just for you. Nighty-night.
Jackal and Hyena were two frequent antagonists of the first two seasons, who started out as members of the pack but eventually went on their own, being highly formidable with the use of cybernetic body enhancements and maliciously psychopathic personalities.
And since you boys went to all the trouble of crashing my party, the least I can do is make sure you have a blast!
They were never the deepest or most interesting Gargoyles villains, but they worked if the heroes ever needed a crazy and formidable menace for the episode. And as Jackal and Hyena take Broadway, we see more of how shitty the animation has gotten this season, as the on-set stage lights seem to have been painted on the ceiling. But I guess who am I to criticize anyone for having shitty lighting? This background is totally real. You'd never guess. Fox decides to go in search of Broadway herself with the help of a high-tech supersuit. Are you really sure you want to do that, Fox? Are you sure you don't want to cry and wait for all the big, strong men to save him for you? Okay, this episode just scored a few points. So, some random dude who apparently works for Fox pulls up. Why is he here? We don't really know. He just kind of exists so that the villains have an excuse to explain their evil plan to the audience.
First, he has to go out in a blaze of disgrace. The quarrymen want to get some use out of them, so we're making Broadway the star of a promotional video.
Promoting what?
You know, the usual. Fear, hatred, bigotry. All the things the quarrymen stand for.
That villain motivation does kinda actually make sense. And it does fit with something Jackal and Hyena would be planning in the first two seasons. But they seem a little, how do I put this, controlled, whereas in the first two seasons they were more overtly unhinged, which makes them a little less fun than before. So of course Fox arrives on the scene and quickly frees Broadway.
Broadway, drop the blaster to overload. It's locked on! The blaster's overloading!
Oh no, it's locked on and there's a ticking time bomb? Gee, I wonder how she's gonna get it off him. So the device that was supposedly locked on just a second ago suddenly wasn't? Huh? Predictably, Jackal and Hyena attack Fox and Broadway in the sky, and we get a very quick, very basic animated aerial action sequence that the show is known for. Except not nearly as exciting as one of many we've seen before.
This time, we both came to the party fully equipped.
And that is the last time we ever see Jackal or Hyena in this series. They are never mentioned again. Now back in Manhattan, we find that Broadway has successfully gone back and completed the interview.
You're horrible outside.
Well, I wouldn't say horrible.
Fox tells me this interview went much better than the first one.
So after this episode, then the public should be fully aware that gargoyles can speak and are fully sentient, which could lead to all kinds of interesting political debates on what their civil rights would be. Debates or discussions that we never see.
And you're sure we're exciting enough for a big star like you?
But Angela eventually forgives Broadway for leaving her because, well, chicks dig famous dudes. And there the episode ends. This episode is actually alright. One of the better episodes this season. It's a lighthearted fluff filler episode for sure, but that is really all it was trying to be, and it succeeds at that. Hell, the fact that Fox is once again shown as being strong and capable alone makes this episode a great improvement over Ransom, which was undone by her piss-poor characterization. Jackal and Hyena lacked the sinister edge they had before, but the role didn't feel out of character. Overall, this episode is one of the better ones of this season. But it's sad this show only really manages to be alright when it openly doesn't try to do anything strong or ambitious. And although this is one of the best episodes of this season, it isn't even measurable to one of the worst episodes of the first two seasons. Until next time, I'm some loudmouth on the internet, and you just heard my opinion. Special thanks to the Dark Conservatarian, Connor Johnson, and my other awesome patrons. And be sure to subscribe for more loudmouth reviews, commentaries, and editorials.